Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Dr. John Smith. If you've been finding yourself waking up 2, 3, or even 4 times a night just to use the restroom, I want you to know something right now. You are not experiencing an inevitable tax on your age. For years, men have been told that broken sleep and a weak urinary stream are just part of growing older. But today, we are turning that misconception on its head. Deep, uninterrupted sleep is not a luxury reserved for the youth. It is a physiological necessity for your heart, your brain, and your longevity. When your sleep is constantly fractured, your body loses its primary window for cellular repair, spiking your stress hormones and leaving you exhausted before the day even begins. Before we dive into the specific foods that are fueling this cycle, I want to invite you to do something important right now. Drop down to the comment section below and share how many times you had to get out of bed last night. Here is why I am asking you to do this. Breaking the silence around prostate health is the very first step toward reclaiming your vitality. When you comment, you aren't just sharing a number. You are showing hundreds of other men reading this page that they are not alone, and you are actively participating in your own health journey today. Let's start that conversation right now, because your experiences matter, and tracking this is how we measure your progress. Now, let's understand the root cause. The frequent nighttime trips and the frustratingly weak stream happen because of a condition called benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH. Think of your prostate as a small ring wrapped around a delicate garden hose, the urethra. When systemic inflammation sets in, that ring swells, squeezing the hose and forcing your bladder to work twice as hard just to empty itself. But what most people don't realize is that the true driver behind this swelling isn't a mechanical failure of the body. It is chemical, driven heavily by what you put on your plate. We are going to expose the hidden dietary triggers that are actively pouring fuel on that internal fire, starting with a category of food that most men consume every single morning without a second thought. Let's look straight into your refrigerator at the first major culprit fueling this inflammation: conventional whole dairy products. I'm talking about whole milk, heavy creams, butter, and aged cheeses. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, "But Dr. Smith, I've been told my entire life that I need milk for strong bones." While calcium is certainly essential, the biological price your prostate pays for conventional whole dairy is simply too high. This is because modern commercial milk is highly concentrated with a hormone called insulin-like growth factor 1, or IGF-1. In nature, that hormone is designed to help a newborn calf grow into a massive mammal in a matter of months. But when you introduce high levels of IGF-1 into a mature adult body, it acts like a potent fertilizer on your prostate tissue, signaling those cells to divide, multiply, and expand rapidly. Furthermore, recent clinical data from Harvard Medical School has highlighted a direct correlation between high intake of whole-fat dairy and increased levels of systemic inflammation, which specifically exacerbates urinary tract obstruction in older adults. The high concentration of saturated fats found in these products also assists your body in converting standard testosterone into a much more aggressive androgen known as DHT. If testosterone is a steady fuel, DHT is an absolute explosive when it comes to prostate growth. Every time you pour heavy whole milk into your morning coffee or cover your meals in processed cheese, you are essentially feeding the very swelling that keeps you awake at night. But you don't have to give up a rich, creamy texture to protect your health. We just need to substitute these triggers with intelligent, prostate-loving alternatives. Your first powerful substitute is high-quality fermented dairy, specifically unsweetened plain Greek yogurt or kefir. The fermentation process naturally breaks down the problematic sugars and alters the fat structure, but the real benefit lies in the billions of live probiotics they introduce to your gut. A balanced, healthy microbiome drastically reduces overall systemic inflammation throughout your entire body, allowing your prostate tissue to calm down and breathe easy. Another phenomenal shift you can make is moving toward plant-based milks, and the undisputed heavyweight champion for men's health is organic, unsweetened soy milk. Soy is rich in natural compounds called isoflavones. These plant-derived compounds act like a smart security guard at the cellular level, helping to block the negative, aggressive impact of DHT directly on your prostate tissue. In fact, long-term epidemiological data consistently shows that men in societies with high dietary soy consumption experience remarkably lower rates of prostate enlargement compared to those on a standard Western diet. It's a simple, delicious switch that yields massive defensive rewards for your body. To build an even stronger natural shield around your system, I highly recommend introducing 2 scientifically proven tools to your daily routine. First, look into a standardized extract called saw palmetto. This botanical has been extensively studied for its ability to naturally inhibit the specific enzyme responsible for converting normal testosterone into the prostate-enlarging DHT. Second, ensure you are getting enough zinc. Your prostate actually contains the highest concentration of zinc found anywhere in the human body, and it relies heavily on this mineral to regulate cellular growth and maintain hormonal balance. An easy, natural way to get your daily dose is by eating a handful of raw pumpkin seeds every morning. Think of them as nature's original, nutrient-dense capsule for prostate defense. Now, let's move on to our second major dietary trigger, which is highly misunderstood and often causes a lot of confusion: spicy foods. I'm talking about hot sauces, jalapenos, cayenne pepper, and anything that makes you sweat at the dinner table. I want to clear up a common myth here. The active compound that makes food hot, known as capsaicin, does not actually cause your prostate to physically grow larger. From a purely cellular standpoint, capsaicin actually has some fascinating antioxidant benefits. However, the problem isn't how it affects the prostate itself. The problem is how it treats your prostate's immediate next-door neighbor, your bladder. Capsaicin is a profoundly potent irritant to human tissue. Just think about the physical sensation it creates in your mouth. The burning, the watering, the immediate rush of heat. That compound doesn't completely disappear when you digest it. It travels all the way through your system until it is eliminated through your urinary tract. When your urine becomes highly concentrated with capsaicin, it acts almost like a liquid sandpaper passing through your bladder and your urethra. If your urethra is already being squeezed by an enlarged prostate, that spicy fluid rubs violently against an already restricted, highly sensitive pathway. The immediate consequence of this irritation is that your bladder spasms and panics. It sends rapid, false emergency signals straight to your brain, telling you that you need to empty it immediately. You find yourself racing down the hallway to the bathroom, only to experience a weak, frustrating trickle, accompanied by an intense sensation of heat or discomfort. While spicy food isn't physically expanding the prostate tissue, it is severely aggravating your bladder muscles, completely sabotaging your ability to hold urine comfortably through the night. If your goal is an uninterrupted night of deep sleep, swapping out that harsh friction is a necessity. Leaving the intense heat behind does not mean your meals have to taste bland or institutional. We can easily replace that aggressive irritation with incredibly powerful, deeply aromatic anti-inflammatory spices that heal your tissue from the inside out. The golden star of this category is turmeric. Turmeric contains an exceptionally potent active compound called curcumin, which clinical trials have shown works at a molecular level to block the primary pathways of chronic swelling in human tissue. However, there is a medical trick you must know. Curcumin by itself is absorbed very poorly by the human digestive tract. To unlock its full medicinal potential, you must always pair it with a pinch of black pepper. The piperine inside black pepper increases your body's absorption of turmeric by an astonishing 2,000%. Another exceptional healing agent you should introduce to your kitchen is fresh ginger. Ginger acts as a highly effective, natural muscle relaxant and discomfort reliever for the entire pelvic floor. Grating a bit of fresh ginger into your meals, or enjoying a warm cup of ginger tea infused with fresh lemon juice, helps soothe the sudden, urgent spasms of the bladder wall, giving you much greater physical comfort and peace of mind. Additionally, do not underestimate the power of classic Mediterranean herbs like fresh garlic, rosemary, and thyme. Instead of reaching for a bottle of processed hot sauce, try marinating your proteins in crushed garlic and rosemary. You aren't just creating a deeply savory, rich flavor profile. You are flooding your bloodstream with active antioxidants that protect your cells from oxidative stress. Now, let's turn our attention to the final, and arguably the most dangerous, dietary trigger on our list if your goal is to sleep deeply through the night: processed meats. I am talking about standard deli ham, commercial hot dogs, crispy bacon, pepperoni, sausage links, and those pre-packaged cold cuts you see neatly stacked in the grocery store aisle. I understand that these foods have been a convenient, savory staple of the morning routine for decades, and it can feel frustrating to think about removing them. But the physiological price your prostate pays for the convenience of processed meat is devastating over the long term. The reason we must be absolutely uncompromising here is that these items are no longer just meat. They are complex chemical formulations. To keep these meats looking unnaturally pink, fresh, and appetizing on store shelves for weeks at a time, manufacturers heavily inject them with synthetic preservatives known as nitrites and nitrates. When these compounds are ingested, or when they are cooked over high heat in a kitchen skillet, they undergo a stark chemical transformation inside the human body, They convert into highly reactive compounds called nitrosamines. Nitrosamines act as an immediate molecular trigger, igniting widespread inflammation inside your prostate cells and accelerating tissue damage. The connection between processed meats and cellular mutation is so incredibly clear that the World Health Organization officially classified these items as Group 1 carcinogens. To put that into perspective, that is the exact same safety classification given to tobacco smoke, plutonium, and asbestos. That is the level of toxic burden we are talking about. Furthermore, recent oncology data published in The Lancet Oncology reinforces that a high intake of processed meats significantly accelerates the progression of localized prostate issues by inducing chronic oxidative stress and DNA damage in the prostatic epithelium. Beyond that long-term cellular damage, processed meats are completely packed with the lowest quality saturated fats and astronomical amounts of industrial sodium. When you consume these heavy fats, your body cannot digest them cleanly. They trigger an immediate systemic inflammatory spike that narrows your blood vessels and compromises circulation throughout your pelvic region. To make matters worse, cooking meats like bacon or sausage at high temperatures creates advanced glycation end products, or AGs. Think of AGs as microscopic biological rust. They stiffen your arterial walls, prematurely age your tissues, and cause your prostate to swell like a sponge. When your prostate swells from this chemical overload, it tightens its grip around your urethra like a vice. This is exactly why you find yourself standing in the bathroom, straining and waiting for a stream to start, only to be left with a weak trickle and a frustrating, persistent post-void dribble. Your bladder simply cannot empty completely because the exit is being physically blocked. Instead of entering the deep, restorative phases of sleep where your brain clears out toxins and your heart rate drops, your body spends the entire night locked in a state of high alert, fighting off the intense inflammatory storm caused by a single evening meal. This severe disruption of sleep reminds me of a patient of mine named Robert, a 61-year-old retired civil engineer. Robert was a robust, hardworking man, but when he first walked into my clinic, he looked completely defeated. He had deep, dark circles under his eyes and was visibly exhausted. He confessed to me that he was waking up 5 times every single night. It was completely destroying his quality of life. He told me, "Dr. Smith, I'm terrified to drive anywhere far. Before I even leave the house, I have to open up a map and chart out exactly where the public restrooms are along the highway." When we looked closely at his daily routine, I discovered his absolute favorite breakfast was a massive sandwich loaded with processed sausage, crispy bacon, and white bread, which he ate to give himself energy for the day. I explained to Robert the exact same biological mechanisms I am explaining to you right now. He was skeptical at first. He had eaten that breakfast for 30 years. But he was desperate enough for sleep to take on my challenge: 30 days entirely free of processed meats, conventional dairy, and heavy spices. When Robert returned to my office for his follow-up appointment a month later, he looked like a completely different man. His skin looked healthy, his eyes were bright, and he had an entirely new level of energy. He looked at me and said, "Dr. Smith, I honestly couldn't believe it. Last night, I only woke up one single time. I slept for 5 hours straight. I had completely forgotten how incredible it feels to just wake up rested." That wasn't a medical miracle. Robert had simply stopped pouring gasoline onto the internal fire of his prostate. So, what should you be eating instead? I never want you to go hungry or feel like you are being deprived of delicious food. We are simply going to replace those inflammatory triggers with what I call the firefighters of your prostate health. Your first major upgrade is to embrace the incredible power of wild-caught fatty fish. I want you to make fish like wild salmon, sardines, mackerel, and albacore tuna your new best friends at the dinner table. If the heavy fats found in processed meats act like gasoline on your prostate, the clean omega-3 fatty acids found in these fish act like a massive industrial fire extinguisher. Omega-3s are among the most potent, scientifically validated natural anti-inflammatories on the face of the earth. Aim to include high-quality fatty fish in your meals 2 to 3 times a week. Your cardiovascular system, your brain, and your prostate will thank you immensely. If you absolutely love poultry and cannot imagine your diet without it, that is perfectly fine. The key here is quality and preparation. Choose organic, skinless chicken breast or turkey breast. Cook it beautifully by baking it, poaching it, or lightly searing it on a pan, but never fry it in heavy vegetable oils, and never let it char or blacken over an open flame. When you prepare it cleanly, you get all the pure, lean protein your muscles need to stay strong as you age, completely free of the toxic inflammatory compounds that compromise your urinary tract. Another absolute powerhouse you need to add to your daily arsenal is the humble cooked tomato. I specify cooked because tomatoes contain an exceptional, highly potent antioxidant called lycopene, which gives them their rich red color. Clinical research has shown that lycopene has a unique biological affinity for the human prostate. It actively accumulates within the prostate tissue, creating a powerful antioxidant shield that protects the cells from oxidative stress and abnormal growth. But here is the critical medical secret. Consuming tomatoes completely raw makes it very difficult for your body to access this compound. The heat from cooking breaks down the tough plant cell walls, unlocking the lycopene and allowing your digestive tract to absorb it exponentially better. Preparing a homemade tomato sauce or a rich tomato soup, especially when simmered with a splash of high-quality extra virgin olive oil, is quite literally one of the most effective, accessible forms of natural medicine you can give to your prostate. Now, if this information is opening your eyes, and if you are finally starting to see the direct, undeniable connection between that morning plate of bacon or dairy and your frustrating, exhausting trips to the bathroom at 2 o'clock in the morning, I want to ask you for a quick favor. To help me keep sharing these life-changing medical insights and reaching men who are quietly suffering through sleepless nights, take a brief moment right now to hit that subscribe button and turn on your notification bell. We have successfully unmasked the 3 biggest dietary enemies, but we aren't done yet. There are still a few silent saboteurs hiding in standard modern diets that you need to be highly alert against. The first of these silent saboteurs hiding in plain sight is the combination of refined sugars and processed carbohydrates. I'm talking about white bread, sweet pastries, packaged cookies, and especially sugary sodas or sweetened teas. When you consume these rapidly digesting sugars, they cause a sharp, immediate spike in your blood glucose levels. In response, your pancreas is forced to flood your bloodstream with a massive surge of insulin. While you might think of insulin purely in relation to blood sugar management, it is actually a highly potent growth hormone. Frequent elevated spikes of insulin act as a direct biochemical green light for your body to initiate systemic inflammation and accelerate the cellular enlargement of your prostate tissue. Over time, a diet high in refined carbohydrates keeps your pelvic organs in a constant state of congestion, ensuring that the ring around your urethra never gets a chance to relax and heal. Our next silent saboteur involves 2 of the most socially celebrated beverages in modern culture: alcohol and caffeine. Whether it is your morning cup of strong black coffee, your afternoon energy drink, or that relaxing glass of spirits or beer in the evening, you need to understand their immediate impact on your urinary tract. Just like the intense capsaicin in spicy foods, both alcohol and caffeine act as highly aggressive chemical irritants directly inside your bladder wall. Alcohol and caffeine possess strong diuretic properties, meaning they rapidly pull fluid out of your tissues and force your kidneys to produce urine at an accelerated rate. When your bladder is already struggling to empty past an enlarged prostate, forcing it to handle an artificial rush of fluid is an immediate recipe for urgency. Furthermore, because these liquids irritate the internal lining of your bladder, they trigger sudden, involuntary contractions. This means that even if your bladder is only a quarter full, the irritated muscle spasms and tricks your brain into thinking it is an absolute emergency. To protect your sleep, you must follow a strict medical rule of thumb. Drastically limit your consumption of these beverages and completely close the valve on both caffeine and alcohol after 6 o'clock in the evening. Give your bladder a clean, resting window before your head hits the pillow. The final silent saboteur you must eliminate from your kitchen is fried and ultra-processed foods. Things like commercial French fries, packaged potato chips, and battered frozen appetizers are loaded with industrial trans fats and cheap, chemically altered seed oils. These unstable fats are major drivers of lipid peroxidation within the human body, generating an enormous amount of cellular waste that actively thickens the blood, damages vascular lining, and keeps your prostate chronically swollen. So, what is your ultimate plan of action? We want to systematically transform your body into an anti-inflammatory fortress, and the absolute gold standard for achieving this is a clean, whole food Mediterranean diet. I want you to focus your daily meals around abundant portions of cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and cauliflower. These specific vegetables are rich in a compound called sulforaphane, which clinical studies show directly supports cellular detoxification and helps regulate healthy tissue growth within the pelvic organs. Combine these powerful greens with your clean, wild-caught omega-3 fish, hearty legumes, and a generous daily drizzle of high-quality extra virgin olive oil. Olive oil contains a unique antioxidant called oleocanthal, which operates along the exact same biochemical pathways as classic anti-inflammatory medications, but does so entirely naturally and gently on your stomach. This is how you eat to actively reduce the physical volume of your prostate. Next, we must address how you hydrate, because how you drink water is just as important as what you eat. I see so many men make the mistake of completely cutting back on water during the day because they are afraid of the bathroom. Please do not do this. Dehydration causes your urine to become highly concentrated, acidic, and dark. That concentrated urine severely burns and irritates your bladder lining, making your nighttime urgency 10 times worse. The medical secret is to hydrate beautifully throughout the morning and afternoon to flush out your kidneys, but strictly close the tap 2 hours before you go to bed. This simple boundary gives your system ample time to process remaining fluids before you sleep. In addition to restructuring your hydration, recent clinical research published in the prostate indicates that systemic metabolic health plays a profound role in pelvic tissue management. Chronic insulin resistance and high fasting glucose levels directly stimulate the proliferation of prostatic stromal cells. This means that managing your overall metabolic health through a balanced, low glycemic diet is one of the most powerful, long-term defensive strategies you can employ to stop prostate enlargement at the source. Our next crucial step is physical movement, because your prostate absolutely thrives on circulation and suffers under stagnation. When you spend hours sitting down at a desk, in a car, or on the couch, blood pools in your pelvic floor, creating a state of chronic pelvic congestion. This lack of movement reduces oxygen delivery to the tissues and allows inflammatory markers to accumulate directly around your bladder and prostate. To break this cycle, you don't need to engage in intense, grueling workouts. Simply committing to a brisk 30-minute walk every single day dramatically increases systemic circulation, stimulates lymphatic drainage, and significantly reduces pelvic floor pressure. Think of daily movement as a physical pump that clears out cellular debris and delivers fresh, oxygenated, healing blood directly to the areas that need it most. Today, we have pulled back the curtain and exposed the hidden dietary triggers that have been quietly sabotaging your health, your energy, and your peace of mind. We have looked at the hard data and uncovered the facts. Conventional whole dairy acts like an aggressive cellular fertilizer that promotes prostate growth. Spicy foods behave like a harsh liquid sandpaper that constantly irritates your bladder lining. And processed commercial meats act as a direct chemical fuel that keeps the internal fire of inflammation burning all night long. But I don't want you to leave this video feeling overwhelmed or discouraged by those warnings. The most important takeaway today is the good news. You are no longer defenseless in this battle. By shifting what you put on your plate, you are taking the power completely back into your own hands. You now possess an arsenal of high-caliber, natural tools to protect your body. The immense anti-inflammatory power of wild-caught fatty fish, the cellular armor provided by cooked tomatoes, the soothing, gut-healing benefits of fermented kefir, the hormonal regulation of raw pumpkin seeds, and the molecular defense of turmeric paired with black pepper. I want you to repeat this truth to yourself until it is completely locked into your mind. Chronic prostate issues and broken, exhausted nights are not a life sentence. Do not accept the outdated myth that waking up multiple times a night is just an inevitable part of getting older that you have to suffer through. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal and find balance, provided you give it the right raw materials. Every single meal you eat is an active opportunity to either feed an internal fire or completely put it out. Choose to be the firefighter for your own body, starting today. As your doctor, I always want to leave you with a piece of advice straight from the heart. The clinical insights and nutritional strategies I share with you on this channel are designed to deeply empower you, but they should never replace the individualized care of a qualified medical profession. If you are experiencing severe urinary symptoms, please schedule an appointment with a trusted urologist. Let the tools of modern medicine provide you with an accurate baseline diagnosis, and then use this powerful anti-inflammatory way of eating as your ultimate ally to accelerate your recovery and preserve your health. Now, I need you to take action right this second. I have 3 small requests for you today. First, hit that like button if this video gave you a renewed sense of hope and clarity regarding your health. Clicking that button is the best way to support this channel and ensure YouTube shows this video to other men who need it. Second, share this video. Think of a close friend, a brother, a cousin, or even your own father, who might be struggling through exhausted days. Don't keep this nutritional breakthrough to yourself. Send it to them right now and help them reclaim their sleep. Third and finally, I want you to head down to the comments one last time. If you haven't shared your numbers yet, do it now, or simply reply with these 2 powerful words: taking control. Writing that out is your personal, public commitment to your health journey. Your dedication to your well-being is exactly what drives me to keep bringing you this research. Take charge of your diet today, and both your prostate and your future nights of deep, restorative sleep will thank you for the rest of your life. I'm Dr. John Smith. It is an absolute honor to walk alongside you on your path to vitality. Stay healthy, stay proactive, and I will see you in the very next video.